Guys, welcome to another episode of TeaDB. We are on episode number 193. We got some raw pu'erh. What does this smell like, Denny?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms. He doesn't even need to smell. That's how good Denny's sense of smell is.
I already smell it. It smells like mushrooms.
Yeah.
Give me way too much credit.
So we have a fancy raw pu'erh from Taiwan again.
Cool.
Thank you, Peter, for sending us this. And this is from the same brand as a couple teas we've had before, the Xizi Hao brand. So 2007, this is from the Autumn Harvest. This is the Xishangmeishao. And stored in Taiwan. Excited to try it.
Awesome. Yeah, it smells alive.
It does, which is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Pu'erh is supposed to be alive.
Yeah. Nice yellow immediately. Wow, look at how dark that is already.
So, Denny, if a tea smelled dead, what would that be like? You could just smell that and let me know what you think.
Oh, wow. Super medicinal smelling and sweet, actually. Some good sweet aromas coming off of the rinse. So it'll have a much different vibe from the package. And then James is just doing some flash brews. How much leaf do we have?
Yep. We're using about 5 grams for 75 milliliters. So standard parameters for myself.
Yep.
And we're going to keep this rolling while the water is hot.
Cool. Boom. More and more yellow-orange.
Yep. So definitely has not been stored in Seattle for this time. So it shows a little bit of its age and the color that we're getting out of here.
Let me smell that.
Yep.
Dang, this is already
sweet, fruity flavors for me coming off of that.
Yeah.
Leathery, maybe a touch.
You know, interestingly, the material looked more heterogeneous and distinct from itself, whereas now in the cup it's a little bit more, or the Gaiwan is a little bit more homogeneous looking. But
yep.
Yeah, looking forward to trying this. Let's do it.
Yep, still coming apart there. And cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Fruits up front for me.
100%. Super sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. That sort of like finishing with the sort of rawness of the tea, but yeah, totally a front sweetness.
Some sweetness towards the back of the mouth as well for me. Smooth overall. How is the storage for you? Is it?
Can't taste it all.
Yeah, so clean enough.
Yeah. It's nice. It's already nice and thick and viscous. It's got a little bit of almost a salty textural thing going on. Really tasty so far.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy. This is going to be an interesting tea, I think, to experience while it develops.
Yep.
More of that sort of menthol, not menthol, but herb tea, or rather medicine shop sort of vibe going on. I wouldn't call that storage taste. I'd call that
just sort of the
part
aging.
Part of the aging of the raw. And we're just seeing this get more and more orange, deep orange now.
Yep.
And it's gonna continue to develop. One of the coolest things about raw pu'erh is how distinct the evolution of the color of the liqueur is when you brew it out. I think it says a lot about each different steeping that you're going to have, as opposed to some of the other teas that, an oolong is going to kind of just be less saturated or more saturated, but these teas really change. It's cool.
And you can really see the development in the color, like Denny said, and that development will often happen over quite a few steeps.
Yeah. Cheers.
Fuller, more texture in this. Better steep overall. Good thickness. I get feelings of the tea going down the throat as well.
I think it's more leathery.
I think you're spot on there. I was trying to place that.
And yeah, really sweet, lovely tea.
Not too floral for me, at least not yet.
Yeah, I'm not getting that much.
It's kind of like in the middle as far as like low notes and high notes. I feel like I'm not getting like the highest notes, but it's not like a super bassy tea either.
Interesting. Bassy. Bringing all the metaphors into TeaDB, yo.
I know. Boom. Look how smart we are.
So smart. Hashtag games are smart.
No.
Put it in the comments.
And James is smart and other untrue things. We have a full Gaiwan here, and let's take a smell of that.
This is getting just better and better every single sip, man. Seriously. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is...
It's got a big, thick body, but also still so soft and smooth. So really pleasant. I'm getting a little bit more astringency actually in this steep. A little bit of drying as well, but it's stronger and in a lot of ways better.
It's not roasted, but there's a like roasted oolong sweetness to this tea that I don't know. It's not a roasted flavor per se, but there's some reminiscent roasted oolong stuff happening in this tea for me at least. And I'm trying to place it. I'm having a hard time, but
it's not charcoal.
No, it's the sweetness.
Okay.
It's the sort of the carrot. It's kind of that, I guess, maybe like a brown sugar sweetness a little bit.
Interesting.
And it used to, I think the first few steepings were very fruity, and that fruit has sort of mellowed out.
Yeah.
Now.
And it's pretty complex tea.
Yeah. And I read this. I'm getting a little more of the dryness in the mouth, and just a lasting, full textural mouthfeel. Not getting it super far down into like my chest or anything like that yet. This feels sort of like a cooling tea to me, but on a day like today, actually, I think it's a great fit as well. And we're just getting darker and darker.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of leather again off of that aroma.
Yeah.
Leather and and as Denny said, the fruits were more prominent in the earlier going, and they've sort of faded into the background now. They're still there, but things like leather and stuff have sort of taken their place.
Yeah, which is kind of more of that deep in the category of raw pu'erh. So we're kind of coming into its own in that way. Cheers.
Cheers.
Getting more minerals, like a really nice kind of like 3/4 of the way through that sort of sweetness. I feel like the sweetness has evolved the most in this tea, changing from a distinct upfront sugary fruit sweetness to a more mellowed out, almost wooey like earthier sweetness.
Interesting. And I wonder how much of this, it'd be really interesting to have the spring version of this. I wonder how much of this is sort of like harvest differences of spring versus autumn and that kind of thing. Hard to say. Really impossible to say, actually.
Have you had this tea before?
I've had it once.
And how long did it brew out for then?
Brewed out for a while.
Yeah.
Probably 14, 15 times.
Yeah.
Nice, so.
Yeah. And those last steepings are some of the most enjoyable ones when you're able to walk away from them and then come back to them. And you're like, oh, wow, I'm really noticing this little thing that is here now but was actually present throughout. I'm just now noticing it at the end of the session. So it's kind of a fun way of drinking tea, leaving it for a minute and coming back.
Leaves really nice sweetnesses in the mouth. Are you starting to feel some of the energy?
Yeah, feeling some good positive alertness / whatever this stuff does to you. I swear, it's like the more tea I drink, the more like pharmacological it seems to be.
I think that's called the chi.
That's the chi. Hashtag the tea.
Hashtag pharmacological.
Oh man.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
I think that also might be a raw pu'erh thing to some extent.
I think it is too. There is sort of that acrid thing that can come out in some of these raw pu'erhs that doesn't come out nearly as much in the other any other tea except for this category. It's weird. There's that sort of intersection of like petroleum and mushrooms and like dirt in raw pu'erh, and that sort of that acrid, strangely chemically bitter kind of a thing sometimes that comes out. It's only in these raws. And I can't think of another tea that has those sort of notes.
I'm getting in this tea. I'm actually getting some new stuff. I'm getting, I almost want to say like a fair amount of acidity and some apple.
Yeah.
So some different things, and that may have been from the reheating of the water and just getting a little bit more out of it. But you're totally right. And you originally said when you smelled it, you smelled mushrooms.
Right.
I haven't gotten a lot of mushrooms from the taste at all.
I haven't either. I think it was just that's just the storage.
Okay.
On it.
And I'm doing the 7th steep here. That'll be the last steep we have on camera.
Yeah. Apples, great observation. It's small, but there. Yeah, this is one of those attention-grabbing teas, I think, just because I'm like, feeling it, which is always pleasant. Wow. Yeah, it just continues to get more and more in that sort of medicine shop vibe. You said acidity, acidity. It was not acidity. It wasn't like a citrusness. There's this the sort of crispness isn't quite there, but there's sort of that acidic vibe. It's not tomatoey either, but
it's more. I'd say it's more on sort of like the apple vinegar sort of side of things.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm tasting the sweetness more again. Interesting. I think the tea might be coming down a little bit, coming off of those more intense flavors, and then those sort of lighter, sweeter flavors are coming out a little bit more now.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you mentioned sweetness, because I noticed a bit more of the astringency in that one, and I think one of the interesting parts of raw pu'erh is just sort of like that interplay between sort of like sweetness and bitterness, especially in like teas that still have some of the bitterness,
right.
And like a lot of times the bitterness becomes sweetness, and so that's sort of a good thing.
Yeah, I'm just with a lot of like mouth sensation, residual flavors, a little bit of mouth watering going on.
Yeah,
this is a very active tea in that regard.
There's a lot going on. It's a tea to pay attention to.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Yep, so here's the last steep on camera, guys. Steep number 7.
No zdrowie.
What he said. Getting a little bit more creaminess in this steep. Or maybe it's juiciness. Maybe that's a better way to describe it.
I think this is great. The sweetness is coming back for me the front sweetness is coming back, and then there's that residual, a little bit mouth puckering, bitterness, and I think the texture has settled back down as well. It's not nearly as viscous and thick, but still has a good body on it.
I think probably the 3rd or the 4th would have been the most viscous of the steeps.
Yeah, and to your point earlier about it not being super bassy, I kind of agree. I think doesn't have those like really deep flavors as much as it does those sort of higher notes. Amazing. I'm feeling great energy off of this. My goodness, you can go run around outside. It's recess time.
Play some dodgeball.
So this is an interesting, challenging, delicious tea. Can folks get this?
I think if you scrounge around the internet,
Message folks.
if you scrounge around the internet, you can pretty much find anything, and you're willing to pay the right price. It's not a cheap tea. I don't know what you're thinking
We're just gonna. Some troll is gonna be out there and they're gonna cut all of the terrible things together.
That's true.
And if you
Neither of us are
text
running
us.
for office ever, because we can't. I mean, not with all the pharmacological tea references we're making.
It was a good descriptor.
It was a good descriptor.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. So, I guess.
So you might be able
Yeah.
to find it. It's not an easily available tea
Right.
that you can just go on to a site and buy.
Right.
But if you keep your head to the ground, you might be able to track it down.
Yeah, check it out. Check us out on TeaDB.org. Let us know in the comments about some teas that we haven't been drinking that you want us to be drinking. You can also send samples our way. TeaDB.org
Yep.
to work out logistics for that. Subscribe to our Instagram, TeaDB.org. TeaDB?
TeaDB.org, I think. Yeah.
Google it.
Go visit us on our website. So many different videos, so much different content. Lots to check out if you are just visiting us for the first time and you like what you see.
Yeah, tons of raw pu'erh, but we want to expand and do other stuff too. So let us know. Thanks for watching. We need to figure out what we're going to do for episode 200. If you have an idea, comment in the comments below. Let us know what we should do. See you guys next time.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.